right next to me is Tshepo Mathibe. And off camera, we're having a conversation about what he is hearing as he's been sitting, when he arrived this morning in studio. And he's saying that he's hearing and finding your surname very interesting.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that there's some relation somewhere down the line, in our family trees.
Yeah.
He's familiar with the My Money family, right, Mr. Tabiso? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Musi, let me tell you something.
Talk to me.
There is a relation because Tabiso, I think, is here for business, right? If I'm not mistaken. And when you actually pronounce the word My Man,
yes, sir.
You will pick up that there's money.
Okay.
There. You understand?
Okay.
So
We're getting money.
Yeah, the relation.
More money.
Exactly.
Okay.
More money, man. More money.
Yes,
so
sir.
yeah, definitely, better. It is a conversation that we are going to get into.
Definitely.
Tshepo Mathibe. So, Mr. Tshepo, kopa fela atamele on the mic so that we can have a very, very a good conversation here,
Yes,
because
sir.
I have my people listening right here on YouTube. So, what I want you guys to do is to use the hashtag Vuga Break for sure as we are getting deep into the conversation. Good morning, sir, and how are you doing this morning?
I'm great, and you guys, and thank you so much for inviting me here.
Definitely, man. We really appreciate you taking the time, Obuti Tabiso, to come and hang out with us and spend some time with us and get into the story of Tabiso Kemang, where is Tabiso from, what are some of the things that he's involved in, and just find out a bit more about you as an individual and all of the things that you're involved in and all of the spaces that you're involved in, man. So without any further ado, let's jump straight in, man. I'll tell you before getting into it that one of the things that I love finding out about different individuals is the story about as an individual, and ultimately what led you to find yourself doing some of the things and being involved in some of the spaces that you're involved in, because it gives us so much insight as to Umang as an individual, and what influenced you and encouraged you and pushed you to ultimately get where you are today. So let's jump straight in. Tabiso Kemangi, how did you grow up? Where did you grow up? And all of that, shebang and all of those types of things. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Where do I start? All right, Tshepo Ukholetsego Protea North. With my dad, my mom, my baby sister,
yes, sir.
my older brother. And we had a very good upbringing, like school and all that.
Yes, sir.
And we morphed into actually getting jobs and all that. I started working for Macro and morphed into actually being an external sales for a company that was actually supplying the products that I'm currently using. So yeah, that's how my actual business started. So this is how it started. I learned that there's a thing called vinyl, there's a thing called application when it comes to vehicle branding. We do vehicle branding, we do t-shirts, but I'm mostly into vehicles due to the fact that I'm passionate about making people's cars look way better than what they are. So yeah, that's me. The other thing that I would like to actually emphasize before we even go forward is that I had a friend that actually pushed me to actually get this business running, which is Shaki, one of my friends in Mayfair.
Yes, sir.
He's also doing vehicle wraps, and I used to supply him from my previous employer. So he's like, bro, you good with people? You good with what you actually doing? Because I used to actually help him wrap his vehicles, and I started loving the actual printing and branding industry and morph into it. We based Momorokvili, and currently it's pumping, and I'm glad that God is on our side.
Yes, sir.
Definitely,
yes,
man.
Sir.
Good to hear that, man. Because we know that there is a lot of misinformation about the business world. That is why we have people like you to come here and elaborate further on what is happening. So what I want to ask is what inspired the business, or did the business start really as the vehicle, branding as the vision and the mission, or it started as something else?
Well, it started as a printing and branding institute, whereby we actually wrap vehicles, we do T-shirts, we do wall murals, and with the people that were around me, we actually pushed to the level that I actually saw that I could actually do this myself.
Yeah.
Instead of working for somebody else, why not do it myself? And I did that, and it worked for me, to be honest with you guys.
Yeah.
But then is it, because I'll tell you, man, like I say, I always find it fascinating and interesting for me. Because what you find as most of us, as adults, a lot of the spaces that we're involved in aren't initially what we wanted.
Yes.
Sure.
Sure.
So is this maybe perhaps something you went to school for? Has this always been an interest for you growing up? Or did you want to find yourself being involved in something else, and then life happened, and you and then eventually ultimately found yourself being involved in what you're involved in now?
Okay. This is how it started.
Yes, sir.
I did a graphic designing course.
Oh, okay.
Right? So drawing was my thing.
Yeah.
Changing, like taking a BMW and putting different decals on it. As is, but putting different decals on it. So it was like a wake-up call to me, stating that, okay, yes, you can draw, but what else can you do? Especially when it comes to your graphics designing. If you look at graphics designing courses, they actually teach you how to actually design.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So if I could design, that means I can actually apply it on a vehicle or apply it to become an item. Great, get my drift?
Yes, sir.
So it started there. I went into graphic designing, and I thought I would go into interior designing, but that didn't work for me.
Yeah.
And now we morphed into actually branding and printing vehicles.
Wow.
And
Very
looking at
interesting.
it, the people that I used to supply, they're all in the north, in Jersey. If you look at their business, it's quite broad.
Yeah.
This pie is very big because you could do T-shirts. 2 streets away, you could have somebody else doing something different. But it's all about branding. And everything that we have in South Africa needs branding. It's a sign. You need branding.
Yeah.
It's a barcode. You need
It needs branding.
It's branding. So everything that we actually see on the road, it is branding. So let's share the pie.
Yeah,
Why not share the
definitely,
pie?
definitely.
Yeah.
I love that, man. A couple of years ago, I'm very involved in the artistic and creative spaces.
Yeah.
And this one director, he's a very big individual in the music space and entertainment space in South Africa. But no one hardly knows him. He's one of those guys.
Yeah.
But he's
always
doing,
in the background.
Yeah, but he's doing so much. He's been involved in very, very big shows that we're all familiar with. And one of the things he mentioned, Rebecca, this one time was that the market and is so open that there can be 50 other
Yes.
other businesses doing the exact same thing. And we
yes.
can all eat because there's so much of the pie, I think, and maybe I could be wrong. I'm no businessman in any capacity whatsoever, right? But I feel like we tend to be given this narrative that business ikana and you have to be the only one doing it, go community, you have to corner the market, only one. And it's all, I personally feel it's always good to have variety.
Yes.
If I'm not really vibing and gravitating to what Thabiso does, I can go to a Musi, I can go to a Milketi. You get what I'm trying to say?
True
and
that.
I love how you say that there's always room, and there's room for other people to come in because there's so much of the pie. I love that, man. We need more people thinking like that. Definitely.
For like an example,
Yes, sir.
there's a guy just here in Dobsonville Mall, Fagizindo. That guy is amazing. Yes, we might have issues in the business. Let's say, for argument's sake, your machine dies. Or it gives you issues. You can actually give him a call. It's like, bro, I need to do 1, 2, 3. Can you help? Come through. This is like, it's a circle. We are all in one. The last time he had a very urgent job, but he didn't have material. He could buy material, but it was on a Saturday when all the suppliers were closed. Tshepo, I need 5 meters of your white printable. Can you help me out?
Man.
There you go, bro. Push your job. So it's not about him getting jobs. It's about us eating as community.
It's a
You
community.
understand?
True.
And what the other thing is that we are creating jobs.
Definitely.
There's an applicator for vehicle wraps, right? There's a designer that needs to do the design before we even wrap the car. You understand? So we are all in one.
Yeah.
We can all be based in Soweto,
Yeah.
but yes, let's share the part.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. It's very good, hear you saying that, because I think it's one of the awareness that needs to be raised in
Yes.
sharing the part of what is happening.
Yep.
So my next question is, I heard you saying, it's branding that
Yep.
you need to apply everywhere. So now, how do you actually determine a need for vehicle branding? And now, what sets you apart from other competitors?
Okay. Me being set apart from other competitors is that I was working for a corporate company, right? So I was taught everything from the materials, the year durability, what works for this and what won't work for that.
Okay.
For an example, there's a trailer that came in, right? And you want your actual branding to last you at least 5 years. Obviously, you need to use a different product. There's a monomeric, there's a polymeric,
Whew.
and there's cost. So those are different types of products that you get into the market, especially from your suppliers.
Yeah.
Understand? So I cannot use a cheaper material to put on your actual branding, on your trailer, to make it work for 5 years. That's not going to last.
Okay.
Understand?
Okay.
Yes, for your small decals, for standard barcodes, for your, let's say for argument's sake, you need just your logo
Yes,
on
sir.
your biscuits, on your wrapper for your biscuits.
Oh, yes.
We can use a monomeric, which is a cheaper product. But if you look at it in my way, right? You can go to a store in Four Ways and they'll give you a monomeric, but at the charge of a poly or at the charge of a cost.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't know that because we know what products to use. Understand?
Yeah.
So when I was I just need to write Polo on my vehicle or GTR
Yeah.
on my car.
Yeah.
And I go for a monomeric vinyl. That thing won't last. Understand? So I've learned products. I've learned how to applicate the products. And to be honest with you, what separates me from the rest is that we are different.
Yeah.
In a way whereby we could actually stand for what we did on your actual vehicles or whatever product that you brought to us.
Yeah.
For argument's sake, you bring your vehicle, you want a full wrap. Let's say the nano gray, the Zadi Audi and all that.
Yeah.
Right? There is a cheaper product, there is an expensive product. Whereby the more expensive product will last you longer. You could have one drive on the road and something is peeling off.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That's killing your
Yeah.
business. That's like me putting your name down, to be honest, because it's your brand.
Yes.
If you love your brand so much, I need to respect it and give it that look that you want it to have. Understand? And it works for me every time. Yeah, you can go to somebody and ask for a coat. And they'll give you a quote of, for argument's sake, 20,000. Let's say 20,000 to wrap your vehicle.
Yeah.
Right? And then you come to me and sit you down. I said, okay, this is what we have. This is what we have. Which one would you like to have? Due to your affordability.
Affordability, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I'm more into helping business grow instead of making money. Yes, we all love money.
Definitely.
I'm not going to say that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to dispute that.
Yes.
But if you give me your vehicles and I brand it or wrap it in a respectable way whereby the next person would say, I want
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting. I wanna look, man. You touched on a few very interesting and intriguing things, and one of them is that the same person who's doing the same business as you, situated and based in Four Ways, could wrap something for you and do a branding for you, like you mentioned, like on a biscuit logo and something like that, or something of that sort, right?
Yes.
You said numeric. There's a difference between numeric.
There's a monomeric.
Monomeric?
Mono meaning one.
Yes.
There's a
Polymeric.
A polymeric
Right.
is like from 3 years to a 7 year.
Okay. So you mentioned that someone in Four Ways can charge you this thing, the
monomeric price, a polymeric price,
with a monomeric
and
thing.
uses a monomeric.
Let me ask you then, because the difference is how long they each last, right?
Yes, sir.
Have you found that in the space of branding and designing and things of that sort, that businesses maybe tend to do that, ba favor to the one that lasts a short amount of time, in hopes of clients returning, coming back for business, but charging them for the polymeric? Is it something that maybe perhaps that's been done by some business owners and businesses?
Okay, honestly, I don't think so. Because you might bring your most expensive vehicle. You give me a G63 for argument's sake, right? Yeah. And you want those AMG decals on it. That costs plus minus $1 million, right?
Yeah.
And 6 months down the line, it's peeling off. Would you even think of coming back to me?
No,
you won't.
No.
You move on to the next supplier or to the next end user that will give you a product that will last you longer. It makes your car look better.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Understand?
Yeah.
So it's all about how you do it and explaining to the client.
Yeah.
Bro, this is your budget. This is what I can do for you. And if you like it, we can do it. But I'm not guaranteeing this will last you longer than 2 years.
Yeah.
So that a client can understand that you explain that I can use a monomeric, but it won't last as long as your polymeric.
Yeah.
I'm giving you options. Instead of me losing the business, let's rather have a chat and see where we stand.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to the product. Understand?
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Because I know more with some other spaces, but regarding in business, some businesses do that.
Yes, they do. The thing
Um,
is, with vinyl, you can't even, let's say for argument's sake, you need a blue, like KV funerals, SG Ngosi's, their products are always on by the sun or always being hired by somebody to be placed on an open felt or at home on a street, being blazed by the sun the whole day.
Yeah.
So you can't use a cheap product that will actually fade off and tarnishing the client's brand or reputation.
Yeah.
So if you, for argument's sake, explain to the client that it's done this way, but it's supposed to be done that way.
Okay.
Understand? Even the suppliers, you can actually have a look at your suppliers. There is a supplier that will always supply a cheap product just to make their margins and get you running. Understand?
Yeah.
So like your wall murals, wall vinyl is expensive.
Yeah.
People don't understand it, especially when it's not printed. And you come to me, you want a customized product. I do customize it for you, but at the charge. And I still have guys that will have to go there and actually apply the actual product.
Yeah.
So we also trying to make this guy happy, try to make you happy, and still keep our doors open.
Yeah.
So it's a factor of too many things.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that. When you explain that to especially people, friends or partners that you are working around with.
Yeah.
You get my drift.
Tshepo is too much, man. Tshepo is doing too much and is charging too much. And also, speaking of designing, man, have you ever found yourself in a situation whereby a client comes, with what they have designed, and you had to look at it and say, you know what, I think here, these are some of the changes that we need to do so that it can look better.
So, when it comes to designing, I always do this. Let's say for an example, you come through, you say you need cups branded, right?
Yeah.
You give me a picture, you give whatever you need to give me, like your breakdown.
Yeah.
I want this written on the left. I want this written on this side, and I would take that, put it on a mock-up for you, and take my own designs and thoughts and put it on another markup. Send what you sent me.
Yeah.
Said this is your one.
Yeah.
But I was thinking we should do it this way.
Yeah.
Then I confused the client. Yo, bro, I didn't know what to do now anymore.
Yeah. I don't know what to go with.
This is what I wanted, but this looks
now what
nicer.
you're coming with. Yeah.
So with most clients that I work with, they actually send me, let's say for an example, you send me a car, your own car without any branding. I put decals, I put your name, I put your logo, I put your email address, and send it back to you. So, okay, this I like, but can we maybe change this blue to a lighter blue, and can we change this red to a yellow? And then we come to an agreement, and then I'll send it back to you as you want it, and we can start branding your vehicle.
I love it. I love how you know, it sounds like you go an extra mile.
You have to.
You don't just take what Musi would come with. Tshepo, I want this done this way. My brand is whatever. And I'll pay you. This is my brand. You actually take it a step further and go the extra mile and saying, look, I see what your design is and what you might want and what you like, right? But how I would do it as someone who's well versed in that space, I would rather maybe perhaps have it this way. What do you think? And then we can have a conversation and try to find common ground and come up with a final product that will work for me and ultimately make me happy as the client. I love that.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely.
True.
Because I think with the successes of the business comes with the mistake. With the mistakes. So, if for someone, because I heard you mentioning some of the things, and the mistakes that happen in the vehicle branding industry. So, what are the common, mistakes that a lot of companies, in the vehicle branding industry do? What are those mistakes?
What I would say is that if you look at a vehicle, okay, for argument's sake, you're driving home from the studio, right? And there's a car in front of you at the road. Right, it's branded on the sides, right? But at the back, you just see a small logo with no contact details, with not even explaining what the company is. That's killing the business or killing your brand. Because if I'm following you, I could still see your name brand, what you guys do, your email address, and your big number in big.
In bold.
Because I can even take my phone out at the same time, take a picture of that, and give you a call. Hey, bro, I need to rent a toilet. I've got a wedding to do. I've got my son's birthday coming through on this weekend. Would you able to do this for me? But I would like it bigger. I would like it bolder. I would like people to actually see my brand. Yes, the sides would work, but the side will only work when I see it on the side.
From the side,
but the vehicle is always driving. It's like a mobile advertising for you. So the less you do at the back and put your details and stating what you're actually doing in your business gives me as your client an ability to actually give you a call and ask you for services instead of saying high end. What is high end? Okay, it's high end branding. Okay, what do they do? But if I have a small side pillar stating that we do balloons, face balloons, events, t-shirt branding, corporate gifts. So you following me makes you understand what my business is all about.
And I love how you just mentioned that, right? Making that example, the difference between having, information on the back and just having a logo and just saying Musi Mist.
What's Musi Mist?
Exactly. So let me ask you now, and as someone who's been doing this for quite some time now, what do you think, on top of what you just mentioned, what do you think are some of the benefits now of having vehicle branding, and how does it help one's business reach their target market?
It's all about the vibrant colors. One of my friends once said to me, have you ever noticed most known and famous brands always have a red color? Red, especially the color red.
KFC, Coca-Cola. Nike has also done a red theme sometimes.
Yes, McDonald's got yellow. But if you look at their packaging, the inside of the actual logo is red. To the actual packaging.
Wow.
Cabo Tombstones. Cabo Tombstones is red.
Yes.
You get my drift. SG Nkosi toilet tire is red. So your mind is always focusing on that red.
And you associate it with certain brands.
Yes.
I see.
So if you add red to one of your brands, it's gonna lift.
It's bound to stay.
Really?
It's gonna lift off, to be precise with you. And I've done a lot of cars without red.
Okay.
Yes, it works.
It works.
It's your brand. I'm not gonna say you don't have to use red or you have to use red. Some brands don't even have red, but we enhance what you have. Understand? Let's say for argument's sake, your logo is blue.
Okay.
I would put blue and a lighter blue.
I mean, like we have here the Vuga,
Yes,
the Vuga
I
logo.
would put
yeah.
blue and a lighter blue, or maybe a gold, a touch of this, a touch of that, just to enhance it for your mind to actually understand. And every time you see that logo, it will always say that, oh, Baleke ba di toilet.
Yeah.
Baleke ba
Baleke ba
di tombstones.
Yeah.
Baleke ba ing. Because
sense.
you're always seeing the actual logo wherever you drive.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
now, do the color have their own price categories?
Well, yes. As I stated earlier on, your pricing from monomeric is cheaper.
Okay.
Polymeric is more expensive, and your cost. And the difference between all these three products is just how they're made. Understand? So, for an example, your monomeric is like a piece of, how can I put it to make it simpler for you to understand it? Okay, a plant, right?
Yeah.
You see, let's say for argument's sake, it's like gum, chippies,
Yeah.
right? And then they roll it out, right? And they put it into those thick rollers.
Yes.
And then it goes in as a dough, then it goes out on that side as flat.
Yeah, as a sheet. Yeah.
That's monomeric. It's easy to get it done,
Oh.
right? And then now we're morphing into polymeric.
Polymeric. Yeah.
Polymeric, they're putting more plasticizers to make it stick better and last you longer.
Oh wow.
And most of the polymerics are UV coated.
So it's protected from the sun's rays.
Yes.
Ah, I see you.
You understand?
Yeah.
Then now we're morphing into the cast plant.
Yeah.
A cast plant, it starts as a liquid. So they roll out, they like, let's say for instance, there's like a base.
Yeah.
Then you put all your cost in there. You let it dry on its own without any rollers on it.
Yeah.
Right? It's flat. It's from liquid and it's now morphing into PVC.
PVC, yeah.
Understand? So that process is a little bit expensive. That's
Yeah.
why the product is more expensive. If you look at, even if you go on YouTube, people that actually wrap vehicles, the minute you pull that vinyl, it will tear.
Okay.
Understand?
Yeah.
But if you have a quality product and you pull it, it won't tear. It won't change color.
Yeah.
Especially when you heat it up.
Makes sense. Yeah.
It remains the
Get my
same.
drift.
Yeah.
It
Very
remains the same. So it's got a memory whereby when you actually heat it, it goes back to its normal state.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Let's say for argument's sake, I made an issue or there's a crease on it.
Yeah.
I can actually lift it, heat
Heat
it
it
up,
up.
and put it back on.
Wow.
With no color changing, and it still sticks,
Yeah.
and it's
And it's going
still
to
gonna
last
look
you
nice.
longer.
Nice.
Yes.
Very interesting, Mo. Very
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
One last one before we head on over to a break. You've mentioned all of these things, right? So polymeric,
Monomeric.
Monomeric and your
yeah,
cost.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that, dishiti and how it's applied and what the process is. Now, with all of this information in hand, how do you now, as Tshepo, as a business, as a brand, stay up to date with the latest trends and all of these things that are coming in? Like, how do you stay up to date and stay competitive?
Okay.
And stay attracting and clients gravitating towards you now as a company. With all of these influences coming in the market, I still want to go to Tshepo.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say it's all about how you do your job, Now, yes, we all want money, but I do it out of love.
Yeah.
That's why when there's a vehicle that needs to be branded, I am there. It's not because I'm the founder of the business, then I have to be sitting and watching the guys do the job.
Yeah.
I want to be there. I want to touch and feel the product.
Yeah.
Only customer, you've got guys doing this. Why are you doing
Why?
it?
Yeah.
Are you an entrepreneur or you trying to?
Or are you employed here yourself?
Are you employed here yourself?
Yeah.
No, it's just me loving the actual product, loving branding vehicles. The last time we were not wrapping, but we were putting a paint protection film on a Ferrari. 15 million rand Ferrari. So
Interesting.
it was amazing for me, but
Yeah.
because I was like wrapping a house, somebody's house,
15 million.
or houses, more guys,
Do you not get scared handling such
Eish,
delicate
man.
cars that cost so
Fragile.
much money,
It-
fragile,
It actually makes me more careful to actually do it the right way.
Yeah.
And not using any knife. We don't use knives when you actually putting a paint protection on a vehicle.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a thing called a knifeless tape. So where there's going to be cuts and all that, you just put your knifeless tape.
Okay.
You put your
I
vinyl
see.
on top or your paint protection film. As soon as you're done, you just
Just
pull
remove,
that,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's clean, and it protects your paint. Stone chips, you know.
So is that one of the ways that you try and stay updated and try and stay, relating with the latest trends and all of these things that
Yes.
are coming in as influencers in the market?
And what I actually like doing is like going onto LinkedIn and checking all these suppliers from overseas and what they're doing, what they're bringing new, what are they doing different that we are not doing on this side.
Yeah.
And I'm learning from that. Take that, do it on our side, on my vehicle, and see if it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Before we go into a client's
To do it
car.
someone else's car. Very
definitely, man.
interesting.
At 20 minutes past 9, it is the time. Yes, guys, you can just hear my voice. I know the camera is all to Mr. Tshepo, who is here, an entrepreneur and a vehicle branding entrepreneur. So please do make sure that you join the conversation by using the hashtag Vuga Breakfast Show to ask your questions. What you're gonna do right now is to take a short break, and then when we come back, we're going to continue with the conversation right here.
Friends, come along with the Vuga team as time is spent
at the Vision Board and Pizza event out at Curiosity in Maboning,
aimed at promoting positivity, creativity that breeds longevity.
Enjoy tasks like silent reading,
vision boarding, and live performances.
Vuga Breakfast Show brings you all things great and amazing with Sacred Sundays
in collaboration with Mwari Pizza for Vision Board and Pizza.
Yeah, definitely interesting. Still in conversation with the one and only Tshepo right here in studio. What you can do is to use the hashtag Vuga Breakfast Show to ask the questions. So, without wasting any time, I know that there's a lot that you want to, raise, especially awareness, because we want people to understand, the benefits of being in such business, and how to start, and what do you need in order for you to fulfill all of the goals and needs that you need for the business. So my question that I want to ask is, based on what people put on their vehicles, man, so do you do graphicals, like graphical images, or you just say, hey, my friend, this,
we don't do that.
This does not speak and does not align with my brand.
Yeah.
Well, the more difficult the actual design is, the more I love
Exciting.
it. Yeah, and I
I
get
can
excited.
imagine.
Have you
to actually do
ever
it.
got such a customer though?
Yes, there was once a Jeep SRT. The guy wanted blood stains on it and a big Hellcat logo on it.
Yeah.
So remember, from the body to the window, so it's like super big, and he wanted like the blood stains on it. So
I can imagine.
we had to come up with a plan.
Yeah.
And we had to make it work and make it look
Realistic,
in sync,
yeah.
So it was difficult to get it done, but we did get it.
Did he come with like an idea of what he
Yeah,
wanted?
he got it from the internet,
Okay.
which was done in the States.
Yeah.
And we took as is
Yeah.
and we incorporated onto his vehicle.
Sheesh.
But he was a finicky client because he couldn't even bring it to our shop. We had to go to his premises.
Wow.
I can imagine. I
Wow.
can. So with that being said, like you mentioned, Khore, you have some of these ones that stand out for you. Now, what are some of the most memorable ones that maybe you can think of? Because off camera, Tshepo just showed us one that he did in Cape Town for a restaurant. It really, really looks like an actual painting.
Yep.
But it's something that he did, and a client from Cape Town flew out here, Soweto, and fetched him and said, "Look, dude,
This is
I've
what I
seen
want
your
to
work,
done."
and I want you." So, what are some of the ones that stand out for you, and are the most memorable ones that you can think of?
Okay, that's one of them. And the other one that we did was, oh yes, my son's favorite car, a GTR.
Yeah,
The guy wanted it to be pearl white. Nobody had pearl white in the country then.
yeah.
So we had to actually get somebody to bring us that actual product. So we had to pre-order it, pay for it, and then get the vehicle done.
Wow.
So that was like amazing.
I can imagine
was
the
amazing.
excitement.
And the
of
guy
his
had
seeing
a
it.
lot of vehicles, bro.
Yeah.
Like proper collector's
Yeah,
items.
yeah.
And then we did his first car. He's like, yo, bruh, the
is
next
proper.
vehicle that I'm doing, you are doing it.
Yeah.
Because if you look at most of the guys that are doing vehicle wraps, most of the time you get bubbles.
Oh, yeah.
It's not looking as professional
Yeah.
as it
Yeah.
should. I'm not saying wet application is wrong.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, guys.
Yeah.
Wet application is not wrong.
Yeah.
So wet application is me actually making the actual product wet.
Yeah.
For me to apply it a little bit easier. But it's not the way to go, to be honest with you, because the minute I put water on top of the adhesive, it's no more as strong as it should be. So I've diluted the actual adhesive on top of your backing paper.
I see what you mean.
So it makes it nice. It will stick, but it won't last you long.
Yeah.
Guys, please don't get me wrong. Wet application is not wrong.
It still works, but it's
still
not
works.
something that you
But
would
just try to
necessarily
teach yourself how to actually
recommend.
apply the vinyl without having water on it,
Yeah.
which lasts you longer, and it's gonna look as good as wet application.
Yeah.
Very interesting. More. I have one last one, and then I'm done in Tshepo for
No
today.
stress.
One last one from me.
Yeah,
from
man.
me though. If there's anyone that you would want to collaborate with, any car brand,
Yeah.
any company, any individual out there, business eating, maybe doing the same thing, or maybe not doing the same. If there's anyone, absolutely anyone that you can think of that you would say, Tshepo, with my company, I'd want to collaborate with this person, or with this company, or with this brand.
That's a difficult.
Who do you think it would be?
I would say,
Even if there's more, more
Okay.
than one, yeah.
okay, let me put it this way. Maponya Toyota.
Oh.
Okay.
That's one.
Okay.
There's VW there, there's Toyota there.
Yeah.
Everybody, Mogasi is a big fan of VW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we actually do decals for some other vehicle establishments, like your dealerships.
Yeah.
So, argument's sake, guy had an accident. His door was fixed. The one side will have GTI, the other side won't have GTI.
Oh.
So, insurance companies around Mogasi would work with. And to be honest with you, my dream is moving my printing and branding industry into something that will actually help little kids, especially Momogasi.
Yeah.
Because I would like to have a rap school as time goes on.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That'd be so cool.
We have whoever comes through. Don't tell me about your qualifications or I used to do drugs and I don't do them anymore, especially guys that were arrested before.
Yeah.
You know, it's very difficult for them to get jobs.
Reform and
So,
rehabilitation.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We collaborate with Josie FM, bring your vehicles, we rep them, we actually teach these kids. Because at times you would like to do something growing up, you know,
Yeah.
I would like to be a designer, but are you a fashion designer? You want to be a fashion designer now?
Or graphics.
Or graphics? But
Yeah.
growing up, you do, Koskela, they don't teach you about that. They'll teach you the products
Yeah.
and they'll teach you all the systems, but they won't teach you how to move forward with the actual branding. So I would like to have kids, we have their names, you know, have their faces on the back.
Yeah.
You design something on yourself, on my computers,
Yeah.
right? You design everything. We print it. We teach you how to print,
Yeah.
how to actually lay
Apply
out
it.
your vinyl onto the machine for cutting.
Yeah.
Because there's two ways, right? There's a front part and the back part. So
Yeah.
these are the things that we need to teach at a younger age.
Yeah.
And these kids will actually move into, as I said, the pie is big. So I can teach you what is branding, or
Yeah.
I can teach you what design is. You come up with a different plan that I didn't even think of,
Yeah.
and make it your own business.
Yeah. Move on and monetize it yourself. Yeah.
Go dladleng ba paisa aja. But the containers are dladleng adina
And the branding. Ah,
So
man.
let me speak to Tshepo, Reteso, and this is the brand. This is my concept. Can you bring it to life? Yes, we can. You know,
Yeah.
Machita baya. Negative drugs. I don't do drugs anymore. I don't
Yeah.
have span. I don't have this.
Let's
what can I
work,
do?
man.
Yeah.
Let's work,
Let's
bruh.
work.
If there's a trailer coming through and I'm willing to say, bruh, for the day I'll give you at least whatever I am thinking. It's okay for you to actually push your day or push your week.
Yeah.
Then tomorrow you're back again. There's 100 or 200 t-shirts that needs to be branded. You're pressing there. You're learning. We growing.
Yeah.
That's how most companies started. If you look at your Postnet,
Yeah.
Postnet started in a garage.
Such
Look at them
interesting
now.
stuff.
Yeah,
Such interesting stuff.
interesting,
Big now.
Mr.
Yeah,
Mr. Tshepo, man, because we know we're not gonna finish.
Yeah,
we're not
you
gonna
wouldn't,
finish
you
because
wouldn't, yeah.
But I'm glad you raised that, man.
Yeah.
It was the question that I want to ask Jorge. You know, how do we raise awareness so that people can be, you can be easily accessible to people? Because I think here we are working on bringing people like you, and then spreading awareness. Jorge,
Yes.
guys. If you want to do branding, Mr. Tshepo is here, and this is how you can reach out to him.
Yep.
Because but all they scared when they hear, body designing, I went to school, they're like, he will want me qualifications.
Yeah.
And guess
Right.
what? We don't charge for designing.
Wow.
We don't charge for design.
Like I said, you go an
Wow.
extra mile. You go a step further.
It's me looking for your business. Remember,
Yeah.
if I don't get your business, my doors will close. So if I design for you at the fee, like most guys would do, like $650, $1,000 for the designing,
Yeah.
and then you still have to pay for your vehicles to be brought to me.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very expensive exercise.
Yeah.
So if I cut cost on your designing, because I love designing.
Yeah.
So I design for you. You're happy with the design. We start branding your vehicles. Seeing your work on the road is so exciting. Even my
I
kids,
can imagine.
Daddy, that's the car that you did. That's the car
yes.
that you did.
I mean,
And it's amazing, bro. Seeing your work.
You know, I can feel more. I can almost see and feel the excitement when like these big cars and amazing cars come into your office, and these guys are there, and it's Tshepo, I want you to do this for me. I can imagine the excitement that comes with having to apply and design for the client, and see that car there, the final product. Essentially, I can imagine. I can imagine. Oh man.
So
yes,
Mr. Tshepo, if people want to reach out to you, how do they find you?
Okay, you can call me direct on my phone.
Yes, sir.
063-293-8375. And on WhatsApp and direct calls, that's the number to actually go on. If you go onto our Facebook page, it's High End Printing and Branding Solutions. You can have a look at the jobs that we did, and then you can take it from there.
Yes, sir. You heard it for yourself. Tshepo shared his WhatsApp and call number, which will be shown on your screen by Katz in just a second. And of course, on Facebook, you can also follow him and reach out to him if there's any work that you would love to do with him. And he's found at High End Branding and
High-end printing and branding solutions.
Yes, sir. That's on Facebook. So Tshepo was hanging out with us this morning for our business blog, because we try and bring you very relevant people doing amazing stuff in and around our communities. And Tshepo is someone that is based right here in Soweto, Rockville, not too far from where we are. So you need not leave Soweto to find all of these amazing businesses that do amazing jobs. Head on over to his Facebook page and see some of the work that he's done. I promise you will not regret. Off camera, he was showing us some of his work, and it looks amazing. And one of our members here, one of our team, Kat, is saying that he absolutely needs to visit your offices. And who knows, maybe one day you might see a Vuga brand out there, or Vuga branding, and it will absolutely be done
by me,
by Tshepo. Absolutely. I promise that's going to happen. So if there's any, of course, questions and opinions, queries, answers, and anything else in between, reach out across all our social media platforms. We go by Vuga Breakfast Show. So that's hashtag Vuga Breakfast Show on Facebook and all other social media platforms. Tshepo, we really appreciate you taking the time to come and hang out with us, man. And spend time with us and share your story and all of this information and knowledge. Because I don't want to branding. We're like, okay, but we don't understand the actual work that goes behind it, and the designing and the amount and the knowledge and information that one needs to acquire and have. So we love it, and we hope that soon and very soon you'll come back and share more, because there's so much that we didn't get into, So that was it, man. Of course, this is what we do every Monday morning on the Vuga Breakfast Show. Mo?
Yeah, definitely, man. That was the one and only Mr. Tshepo Mathibe joining us. If you want the interview, what you can do is just to press the rewind button, or we're going to cut it for you so that you can watch the interview. So right now we're going to take a break, and then when you come back, we get into our next interview with Miss Pretty Mashego, who's also a dynamic entrepreneur. So stay with us.
Thank you.